Today we're going to be replacing the dust cover on a Black Rain Ordnance Spec 15 rifle. It's my patrol rifle, and me being a police officer, I kind of want to change the original dust cover that came with the rifle. As you see it here, I mean, it's not a bad dust cover. I don't mind the look of it. It's just a tad cheesy, as with most Black Rain products, and it won't look that great in court, let's put it that way. You know, it could look bad in court. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it with a dust cover that I like more anyway, which is going to be this one right here. I like it more. It's got printing on both sides instead of just one. You know, well, that one does too, but it's the full image. All right, let's see how this goes. As you see, I now have so get focused in right there. Little C-clamp from the rifle, and the way I did it, it's pretty simple. I want to put the C-clamp where you can find it. I'll put it right over here, as you see. Well, you probably don't see all this, but it's right here. I'm going to put that right over here on top of this, so you can see it. All right, the way I did it, it's very simple. I noticed in other videos people got hung up trying to get the C-clamp where they could actually even begin to access it with tools. And I notice a lot of people make a basic mistake. They forget that this bar that holds your dust cover in place, the only thing that keeps it from moving is that C-clamp. So what you can do is go over here to this end. It's very simple. Go over here to this end and push. And mine butts up against this over here, but it's not a big deal. If you look closely, it gives you some space to work with, and it makes this whole process a lot simpler. All right, and what I use to get it off, I use these clamps, these bent clamps here, and my flat nose. The way I got it off is pretty simple. The C-clamp sets here. You're going to turn the open mouth of the C-clamp. I'll show you. It wants to stick to everything. I don't need to lose it. You see the open mouth of the C-clamp, which is going to be on this side. Once again, hold on, it's getting stuck to everything. We'll leave this in the video, it looks kind of funny. All right, the open mouth of the C-clamp, you want to leave that facing up toward you, all right? Once you have that, you're going to leave it with a C shape facing you like it is now. Say, if we were sitting right here, the C shape would be facing us while it sets in your rifle, like right down here. It's going to sit here with it facing you. At that point, you're going to take your bent nose, or you may have to use some straight noses, but a bent really helps. You're going to take it, and you're going to hold it like this. You see the little ring, it's going to set in this ring, and you're going to take the bent nose, and you're going to hold one side of it and push with the flat side of your screwdriver. You're going to hold it here and push down with both sides. Primarily you're going to be pushing with this, but you're going to be holding and pushing with the needle nose as well. Just push those down, and after about 2 or 3 tries, it's going to pop right off. It's not hard. You'll see it if you've got good eyesight and you get up close to it. You can see it when it's coming loose. It's not that big of a deal. It's actually probably the easiest thing I've done in this whole process. I was expecting it to be much harder. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to get this bar out. We go back here. I use my flat nose to begin pushing it out. If you're ever in the military and you worked on the old 50s or 7.62, the Bravos and such, then you should kind of be familiar with some of this process. Let me see this. I'm trying pulling it out now. I'm gonna need a stronger pair of pliers for this. I'll be right back. We're back. And the main issue I just had was these little clamps over here weren't strong enough. You couldn't grip the bar. So we get a little bit bigger pair of pliers. Let's see if this one works. And it does. The reason I put this little baggie here was mostly to protect this from scratching. This works so far. You want to watch a little spring up here. The spring is going to come out. And remember, it's short side up, long side down. Before we go any further, I'm going to show you the image of what this looks like. Zoom in right here. Get above and zoom in right here. Alright, so you've got a short side to your spring on this side and a long side over here. This creates tension for your dust cover to stay down or pop open, alright? Stay down mostly. But you're going to make sure the long side is buried in this little ridge right here. Short side up, long side down. It's that simple. And keep your finger on it. It will try to jump like it just did. So now we take, see what I mean about the spring? Short side up, long side down into the dust cover. Put that right over there and continue pulling our little bar out. At this point, you don't have to completely remove the bar. You can pull the dust cover off as, you know, like so, without completely removing it. I've seen people do that. So we're going to take our second dust cover and go ahead and pop that. Ooh, almost lost it. Pop that into place. Push it back. It's going to take some, I'm going to play with it a little bit. There we go. We get to about right here where we're going to have our spring. This is going to take a little bit more effort. Alright. This was a tad tricky. Not really, but a little bit. And I decided to go ahead and take it apart, not the entire thing, but this section, and show you exactly how to do this, alright? So, when I say short side up, what I mean is you're going to take this little short side right here, see? You're going to take that, you're going to put it right here. The easiest way to do this, by the way, this little plastic bag, I think I already explained, keeps from scratching. It makes things a lot easier. You also want to lube this entire section, like spray oil on it. It makes the whole process a lot easier, okay? So you want to push the little bar, you're going to set it right here with this little short side pointing up. Right here, you're going to push the little bar through, your bar through right there. And then once it's through, you're going to take this long side. I don't know if you can see that, but you can take this long side. You want to back the bar out, just barely hanging on. It's the easiest way to do it. Just barely hanging on, all right? You're going to keep that. You're going to twist this. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you're going to twist it all the way around to where it sets right there on top of your dust cover, all right? Now you can't see it very well. Hopefully you can see that. It's going to set right there. And then you're going to start pushing your bar through. All right? You get to guide it in. And once you have it in, as you see, now the tension is there. This is your tensioner. All right? You start pushing your entire bar. And then once you have it there, and you see the little C-clamp ring come out on the other side, hopefully you can see that little C-clamp ring. You see a little bar in the metal, and that's where you're going to finish this whole process up. Alright, I don't know if you can see the C-clamp. Tap to focus. Tell the screen to focus. There you go. You see the little C-clamp I'm holding right here? I haven't done this bit yet, so because obviously I don't want to have to take it back off. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, put it right back into that ring and push. I've had a lot of caffeine this morning, so my hands are shaking a bit. This looks like it's going to be the most difficult bit. Getting the C-clamp back the fuck on. Here we go. Okay, now I've got it positioned. I use my finger to kind of position it there. I just know it's probably hard to see. Alright, the way I worked on this, between me cutting the video, last time you saw me struggling with it a little bit, and cutting it back on was about 10 minutes. It didn't take long. Didn't apparently have the proper tools. A pair of tiny tweezers would have done better. But the clamps worked. I used the clamps the way I did it. I'm not going to take it back off and show it to you. But the way it's pretty simple. The way I did it, you have that little ring in your bar where your clamp sets, right? I took my clamp and I put it on that. And if you push it a little bit, it kind of sticks to things a little bit. But if you can get it to set in that ring, it'll cling to that ring the way you saw it kind of clinging to the needle nose earlier. Kind of cling to that ring. And once I did that, now this wasn't working. I couldn't get enough grip to push it. So I held it in position. It was held in position in that little ring. And I took the tip of my flathead screwdriver, my tiny little screwdriver, and I positioned it over it. And I kind of turned it sideways. And I positioned it over from the top. And very, very carefully gave it a good little push. And as I pushed, it slipped and right into the hole, right into the ring. Now it's in position, and I'm going to make sure it's seated well, which it seems to be. I'm going to rotate the bar and make sure that it's to where the opening is facing me. The opening of the C-clamp is facing me. And now that it's in position, I'm going to grab both sides of that C-clamp with my needle nose. Tighten it down and pull it in close. So now I know it ain't going nowhere. Some people recommend putting tape or other things to keep some scratching finishes and such. In my opinion, if you have a combat rifle, you shouldn't worry about scratches on the finish too much because it's going to get fucking scratched. If it's a patrol rifle or a rifle that's going to get knocked around with you as you do your job, or whether you're border patrol or police officer or whatever, it's going to get knocked around and beat up a little bit. Wouldn't worry too much about that. The only thing I'm mainly worried about was this section right here, just because I don't want to gouge, which it might do, since that bar literally bends against your finish over here. But it's a pretty simple process. And now, as you see, you push the bar back, and you've got a functional dust cover.